Welcome back, everybody, to Jface Games. Today we are continuing our process of trying to design a new game from scratch. I'm still in the holding pattern and waiting for the edits on my game that I've turned in to my editor slash publisher slash artist slash awesome mentor. And so currently I am playing around with other design concepts. And if you haven't seen design 1 and 2 thus far in this series, you can go back and look at those, or you can just stick around because it won't matter at first. Maybe we tie it in at the end, but let's talk about this. So I was recently watching a video over on Tales from Elsewhere with Peter, and he was talking about tactical games, and he kind of came up with this definition for tactical games, right? Myriad viable options with distinct outcomes. What does this mean? It means that you should feel like you can take multiple actions on your turn, different types, right? You don't feel like you're pigeonholed into one thing. And when you do these different, each one of these should be equally effective in the grand scheme of things in your combat. And the outcomes you have should be different, right? They shouldn't all feel the samey. And so examples of this would be, when I played 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons back in college a while back, dating myself, I remember that fighter, I felt like I had lots I could do early on, or in low levels, but when I got up into higher levels, the way I'd built him in such a way that if I didn't do this one attack, I was just not as effective, right? And that didn't feel so good. Now, that might have been just me, it might have been user error. It might have been the design of the game. It's been a long time. It's an earlier design, 3rd edition. But it definitely felt that way, and that didn't feel good as a player. And then distinct options or distinct outcomes. Peter gave a great example in terms of like 5th edition's advantage system. Brilliant design, really cool, very clever, and very easy for the game master to deploy, right? Because all you're doing is you're saying, hey, you did something cool. Here's advantage. Makes it easier for you to do your thing. Oh, you flanked that person? You got advantage. Oh, you just used reckless attack? You've got advantage. Oh, you're hiding? You've got advantage. The problem there is that it starts to just feel watered down, right? It doesn't feel like, oh, I just swung from a chandelier and I'm dropping down on this enemy. It just seems so cool, but I'm just getting advantage. Like after a while, after you've heard the term, you get advantage, it just doesn't feel as cool. So I was then brainstorming, right? This is not a perfect design. This is brainstorming. This is a seed, right? We're planting this seed in the community, the comment section. Everything comes to life and we all start talking about it and we see what comes from it. So I started to think initially of a little morale track, and we've all seen those kind of things. And as you do actions, you push them this way and they push them that way. But the problem is that's not distinct outcomes, right? That's just all things leading to morale, right? So instead, why not have more tracks? And so this is what kind of came from my brain, right? This is 4 different tracks. And the names of these tracks are at random. I am not a wordsmith. I just kind of throw things down. So if you have better options for these tracks, throw them in the comment section. Already Drew did a great job of pointing out some of my naming conventions in one of the last videos, so I really appreciate her. And it's one of those things that I need that kind of stuff. I'd like to talk through these things. All right. So we have these 4 tracks. We have morale, positioning, knowledge, momentum, right? In essence, if you think this is one side going to break, or is one side feeling better about their chances? This is actual tactical positioning, like I'm above them, they're below the, etc. This is understanding the enemy, right? Understanding your opponents. And this is, I think, momentum and morale. That might be a little too synonymous, but I think that they're a little different. I think that this for me is also a meta currency in one of my games, and so it's kind of why it made the cut. But it could be something completely different, right? You could have luck, right? Luck might be an interesting one here. That might be a little different than morale. Like luck is on your side. Let's put it. See, this is what we're talking about. See, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys helping me out. All right, so let's just say luck. Now, what happens? Well, if you're in an encounter, this little thing starts at neutral. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe based on if the dungeon master's a real jerk, it starts over here, or it starts over here, or who knows? It starts somewhere, right? Let's make this one luck too. So who knows? Viable or variable positions for where this token starts. Right now we're just starting it here. All these words say neutral. Don't try and read them. That's just I copied and pasted from the center piece. All right. Now, what happens? Well, as you're doing things in combat, it could be either A, you have specific actions that say specific things, right? You have an attack that says +2 morale. You have an attack that says +1 positioning, whatever. Or it could be you just do cool stuff, right? Like you say, I want to take, can I do a knowledge check or an insight check? We use 5e. Can I do an insight check on that enemy to see what the hell they're doing? Yeah, yes, of course. So now guess what? You move on the knowledge. Or, I'm going to climb this, I'm going to climb up this, I love chandeliers, what can I say? I'm going to climb up this railing and get up on this balcony. And by doing that, guess what? Positioning now improves for your side. But the idea is that this little token is going to start moving down these continuums. Now, what could be interesting is that say you do that, you get positioning, it moves here, +2 to your side, like your team now has positioning, and then maybe someone else now does that insight check, and it moves down to the knowledge track, and then it moves over one, right? And so now it's kind of moving along. Well, each of these boxes might have bonuses. They don't have to all be unique, right? Maybe it's standard bonuses, +1, +1, +2, +2, +3, +3, who knows? Maybe they're thematic bonuses, right? If you're when you're in the knowledge check, it means that you can't be flanked, right? If that flanking's a thing in your game, all of a sudden you can't be flanked. Or you can't be surprised by hidden creatures or whatever, like weird stuff. You can have all kinds of thematic stuff in here. Down here it could be meta currency. Everyone gets +2 whatever the meta currency is all of a sudden, and it's like a one-time bonus. You see that in video games. You could have static bonuses that are constant, and you could have one-time bonuses that once you hit it, you all gain that thing, etc. So you have all these bonuses moving around. Now, the end of these tracks could denote the end of combat, right? So it's if you could ever get this thing all the way, right now I have it as, if you can get it all the way to morale on your side, guess what? The other side breaks and you win, right? Now, you could also kill everyone outright. You could just, because remember, hit points are still a thing, or whatever you're using in your game, whatever it is, you could still defeat all the enemies. And to be honest, there should be multiple win conditions. You can either defeat them all, or you steal the thing, or you escort the person. Watch the Mystic Arts video by Dady on encounters, and he has these great charts at the end, right, where he describes like roll on this chart, this chart's win conditions, this is the type of baddies you're fighting. They're really succinct and nice. So you're trying to get it over here. Maybe you only try to get up here, maybe you try to get it up any of these last positions is a victory, etc. Now the monsters, they don't act like normal people, right? So they might have something where it's like the dragon or the giant beast with wings drops down and uses its wings to buff it and throws everything away, throws everyone around. Immediately this moves to or say it's here, immediately moves to +1 position for the enemies, or -1 position for the good guys, right? And then these have little penalties in them. So the monsters might all of a sudden negate a lot of your progress, jump it over here, but I would say you try and do that sparingly, because that might not feel good for the players. But it might feel good. It might be this surprise, this quick tug of war, and you've got to do things to kind of, pile it back up. Then I thought might be interesting is that the monster side, in order to win, is shorter. And what this means is that maybe this is a possibility for when you're leveling as players, you can try and, we're going to push this out some, right? So now it's harder to defeat us by positioning. It takes longer. I don't know. We're making stuff up, right? We're making stuff up. So what does this look like? How does this feel? Well, now, as a player, this is sitting in the middle of your table. I know it's wild. This in the middle of your table would be unreal. I don't have friends anymore in real life. What is that like? We're sitting around a table, we're playing this, it's in the middle of the table, it doesn't look this gaudy, it looks fantastical with great art, and it's sitting in the middle of the table. And now we can see this token moving, and now maybe we're doing combos, right? Where it's like, so-and-so needs to be able to pull off an ability this round, and they need more of their meta currency, and it's a game-breaking, or it's not a game-breaking, but it's going to hugely shift the tide. So I do a knowledge ability, it's here, I do a knowledge ability to get it here, and then so-and-so does something to give us luck and momentum. Whoa, what's happening here? And so then all of a sudden it moves down here and it moves over here and the whole group gets the momentum bonus. And then, Johnny shoots off his, special ability with his meta currency, right? So that might feel good, where your action might be, you know what? I don't have a viable action at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flank and I'm going to just shift this, right? It's down here. I'm going to flank and it shifts it up here. So now it's further along and then so-and-so is going to do something. So there might be some cool tactical concepts here for being able to do something in the party that actually gives everyone bonuses and moves things along and pushes it to that morale, right? So now let's just say that we combine this with some of the other stuff. I have no idea how that would look, right? If we're now combining this, I'm not even going to talk about all the details of the last videos, but if we just combine this with stances, right? Stances might be a wild concept to combine this with, where all of a sudden stances might really dictate positioning some. Or we combine it with, what else have we been talking about? Mostly stances and combo actions, right? So I think that if we're going to, at this point in time, stances and combo actions are my favorite things that we're playing with. Stances being things that affect, let's zoom in here for a quick. Stances being paper, rock, scissors. That was almost a huge mistake. Paper, rock, scissors, and defenses, right? It changes your defenses. It changes how effective you are, etc. And then this combo action being that when I do an ability, next person gets a bonus to a certain attribute ability, right? I still like this idea, right? So these are in essence our core tenets. Do we have to do them the way we did in the previous one? No. In the previous videos? No. But I still like this concept. So there we go. Now we've got these 3 things to play with potentially. We'll see what happens in the next video. I'm probably going to think about this more because I haven't touched this for 3 weeks. I just decided to make a video about it because I thought it was fun. And so let's brainstorm this a little bit more to make it more fun and less board gamey. Doesn't have to be. I like board games. And let's see how these stances and combo actions can dovetail into this. Maybe we'll go ahead and start writing some of these powers in or some other rules. Or to be honest, I'd love to hear more potential options or different option combinations for these, because that might inspire some things. I like this idea of luck, knowledge, positioning, and morale so far, but I'm open to ideas. All right, guys. Deuces.